Savor Newark, the podcast, a platform that allows us to discuss everything food related in the great city of Newark, in our modest opinion, the authentic food capital in the country. Today, my great guest is José Leitão, one of the most iconic and favorite restaurateurs in the Portuguese community. What an honor. Welcome
Always
to
good to see you,
Savor
my
Newark.
friend.
I know, thank you. You your passion for food be even before the whole food truck. I mean, you come from a corporate background, pretty
Yes.
successful one, and all of a sudden, I know that there was a movie involved that somewhat
Yeah.
sparked the
The
interest.
cliche.
Can we go over what made you, um, say goodbye to a really wonderful corporate career to let's just have a food truck?
Yeah, we all have crazy moments in our life. Maybe that's one of them. Yeah. Yeah. So though I was always involved in the restaurant bar scene. Obviously, with two friends that are like brothers to me. We had a DJing company for many years. Mostly for fun, but and so I was always fascinated by that part. So when I was younger, I had always have that dream of maybe opening up a bar or this or that. But as I got a little bit older, I said, no, maybe a restaurant is probably the safer way to go now. And so I started looking for places, with no rush. Obviously, I had a stable career, so I didn't need to rush into anything. And but never either found the right place or found the right place, but the price wasn't right. So try to be as calculated as possible. Until one day I like run into this movie on Netflix, right? So the movie's Chef with John Favreau, and most of the cast from Iron Man is in that movie, as you know. And I was like, all right, so a food truck, maybe that like would be pretty cool, And like I'm like, man, there's no really traditional like I know there's like a lot of people in from Portugal made their life with the lunch trucks, with the ready-made food and stuff like that. One that's an iconic place, unfortunately he's not with us anymore, Mr. Martinho,
Hmm.
the owned Valença. He started with a food truck, and he used to tell me every single time I ran into him at a party. He knows my dad. We're very, very good friends, and he would always tell me, "Listen, remember I started with a food truck, and I still miss it." So I started looking for a food truck. I said, "There's no Portuguese food trucks, offering the main sandwiches from Portugal." So started looking, and that dream got put together, and it was awesome. Yeah,
I remember when you first opened, it was the talk of the town. Everybody was like, "Do you know that there's a sandwich place, a food truck that you can eat sandwich morcella and
yeah,
that's Portuguese sausages and these really exotic sandwiches?" Because it's yes, it's with Portuguese products, but you also you put a spin into them, just a
yeah,
little bit, some
yeah. We started.
flavors that make them pretty unique.
Yeah, I started messing at home. Before this even became a reality, I started like working on a menu at home and messing around with aiolis and different sauces. So um, it was like a discovery period, and then when finally it was like I had an opportunity to take a package and leave my company. I says, maybe now I'm gonna try to take some time off and enjoy for a little bit, and then I'm gonna start looking at this, right? And yeah, I took like 2 days off, and I started looking for a food truck, and found it, put it together, and we went to work. May 19th, 2015 was we delayed the opening. Like I was supposed to open way before that, but I never felt that I was ready, and that was the day. And we went to Independence Park, right
Hmm.
past East Side on Van Buren, and it was I was a nervous wreck, and like I like obviously you have your back to the window. You know, my dad was helping me, my ex girlfriend, and I turned to the window and there's a line, and I'm like, it was a Saturday if I'm not mistaken, um, and I was like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? You know, so it was excellent. You know, it was a good experience.
We see you, and we vouch for your success. I mean, you've been pretty successful, but I'm pretty sure that putting together a food truck and making it successful, I'm pretty sure that it wasn't easy at all. Um, Especially because you come from a background of corporate America. I'm pretty sure that they gave you a little bit of that business sense, but it's still a different. So, what were some of the challenges, and how would you explain your success?
Well, the success we'll still see. We're still working on it. 10 years later, it's obviously we know that there's been ups and downs, especially in the recent years. So listen, the main the main ingredient is for you to love what you do.
Hmm.
So obviously, uh, I believe that like a menu, if we put something on the menu, is a promise to the customer that we're gonna give them what we promised them. So if I say that I use quality meats, you know, quality product, I need to give them that. So the challenge in the beginning was that it's like getting the right suppliers. You know, you don't know it. Like, and I'm fortunate enough that I have a lot of friends in the business. I get along very well with a lot of restaurateurs that you know as well. And it was I got a lot of advice from them, but yeah, I think manage with the food truck the biggest challenge, and you know it's like for everything I think you need a little luck along with a lot of hard work and dedication and integrity. You know, but you that winter wasn't that bad. The first year that we opened the food truck, man, I remember we had days in December that I had people in short sleeves outside. So you need a little luck, and God was on my side that year, and we had which made it for a good solid year starting out.
Hmm.
Because then the next winter was very aggressive. I don't know if you remember, we got a lot of snow. There was some issues with the street cleaning in Newark, the snow removal, and so that like so the challenge in New Jersey, obviously, in you know the West Coast and Florida and stuff like that, uh, Texas, they're big in food trucks, but it's warm all year long. So here in Newark, obviously, when I speak Newark, is New Jersey. That is one of the biggest challenges for a food truck, you
Hmm.
know. So, and that's when about a year into it, when we had that really bad winter, I'm like, man, I think we need the support of a brick and mortar because it's tough, you know. And my truck, and I learned that quickly. You know, I met a lot of great people in food trucks, man. One of them passed away last year. It was hard news to take. Young man, John Hepner. He owned with his family the Thai Elephant, and then he opened a brick and mortar in Verona, uh, and he gave me a lot of advice. He was the president of the New Jersey Food Truck Association. Um, and I got a lot of I met the gentleman that ran the food truck spots over in Jersey City, which we then went there later. Um, Ram, the incredible, he's from Vietnam, man, and because our menu wasn't really a food festival menu because we had a full menu. So, and I was like, man, so food festivals. Had I known what I know today, maybe I would have gotten more into maybe the fritters, the turnovers and stuff because it's good. Because I remember I was having a conversation with Ram one day in Jersey City, uh, and I was like, man, you know, like the food festival sometimes it's hit or miss, and started adjusting the menu a little bit with smaller sandwiches and stuff like that. And he's like, listen, bud, like yours is like mine. It's like when you eat one of your sandwiches, you're committed. It's going to be a meal. So people go to food festivals, they like to try this, try that, try that.
Hmm.
So, that's why the smaller bite trucks do better in food festivals, which then helps you, you know, go through a rough winter, for example. So that was a big challenge. And that's, I figured out that we needed to
Adapt.
get the support of a brick and mortar. And
Hmm.
then we found one, and that's where it really started going.
Hmm. So I feel that as I was sharing with you, amongst the Portuguese community was an immediate success. So I feel, but then when you went from Newark to Jersey City, you were also pretty
Oh
successful.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we were super busy there. Thank God. Obviously, you had about 15,000 people that worked in those buildings right there in the financial district. Because there was times that we had 30, 32 food trucks there
Hmm.
in three blocks. And again, unity. People sometimes have this misconception. I've spoken to you about that a lot.
Hmm.
Oh, the more there is, the worse. Oh, they're gonna take my business. No, the more there is, the better there is.
But at first you had some.
United we stand. Divided we fall. You know
Right.
that.
But at first, I know that it probably weren't the most welcomed by the
Oh, it's all.
other more established food trucks that
Yeah,
were
it's
there at
it's always a
the
challenge.
independence.
It's always a challenge, and nobody. So Jersey City did a phenomenal job with getting like those. They had reserved food truck parking from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. So which was amazing. But there was nobody had spots. I respected Rom's spot. Sometimes if I saw that somebody was trying, I would save him the spot until he got there, and then I would go wherever I could, squeeze my truck in. But then I started getting used to have my spot. So because then I like paid my dues.
Right.
And then one I remember it was actually a Brazilian truck started coming over there and taking my spot. And I'm like, so I had to start going earlier and earlier and earlier. But I won. I started getting there at 3:30 in the morning, until, the lady finally quit taking my spot. So perseverance.
Hmm.
So yeah, Jersey City was amazing. And again, I met a lot of people, a lot of good people. The food truck business is hard.
You miss it?
Yeah, it was cool. It was really cool. No, you never know. We might even do something. Again, I've learned so much now.
Hmm.
That who knows if we don't do something. I've had like thoughts of maybe putting together like a smaller truck with just our rissoles. Obviously, we call it rissoles, but there's turnovers. It's a proven product, and that's a festival
Hmm.
item. And so who knows? I've spoken to my partner about it and stuff. So who knows what the future will bring? We'll see how it goes.
What happened, and when did you feel that no, I need a physical location? 'Cause
Yeah, it was after that winter because again that year we suffered. It was a long winter, and we suffered that year. You don't have another source of income, it becomes hard. So and as we got a little bit better at what we did, and I'm still learning. And um, I figured then I was able to rent a better like the first year I was parking the truck at my father's house. So then in the winter, that winter killed it. Like pipes burst, you know. We had an espresso machine on the truck. You know, we by law you have to have a water heater. It's a full restaurant. You have to have a hand washing sink, the 3 compartment sink, suppression system. It's a restaurant on wheels. So all the laws that apply to a restaurant apply to a food truck. A lot of people sometimes don't realize that. So I had to find a space that was heated to store the truck overnight, when we were not operating, prep area, as the business grew a little bit, because in the beginning we were operating, which is not, we were prepping a lot of stuff at home, you know, third floor, up and like carrying stuff, 6 o'clock in the morning, Home Depot runs, like those are the challenges. So
Mhm.
I figure if we had something to support the truck, that it would become easier. And we did. We had the truck when we opened Javis Street. Um, I had the truck still for another year and a half or so, and it was helpful. But
Mhm.
then it became to where I can't be in two places at the same time. couldn't find anybody to operate it under our name. And so I just eventually sold it
Hmm.
because then we went obviously with the plans to open the second location. So yeah, that
Hmm.
was that on the food truck. I miss it.
When you opened the food truck for the first time, would you ever imagine that you would have fast forward two locations to restaurants like you have now?
Yeah. No, no.
Was that always, was that ever a plan to, from the
Yeah,
food truck to restaurants?
yeah,
Yes. Okay.
yeah.
Hmm.
It was always back there. Obviously calculated because it's a tough business to be in, especially now. But yeah, it was always there. Obviously, when I think I'm thinking a little bit differently now, as you get older, I think you start prioritizing certain things that you didn't when you were younger.
Hmm.
So I was obviously, it's going to be almost 11 years that we opened the food truck. I was a lot more ambitious, younger, and now uh, I look at certain things again, obviously experience brings a lot to the table, and you look at things differently.
What did you think that were the main learning curves
Oof.
that shaped
Yeah, I
your
think we could
approach
be
to?
here for, uh, again, I think,
Well, I can have you back.
yeah, I'll be back anytime you ask me to, brother. You know that. But uh, again, you learn a lot in this business. One of the learning curves for me uh, is being humble and responsible. And you're dealing with food, man. So if you don't treat that with the respect that it deserves, it doesn't work. It's not supposed to be that way. So I've learned the hard way. We've lost money. We've struggled, and we still struggle. Obviously, the price of things right now in the supermarkets. So if it goes up in the supermarkets, it's not like we're getting it at the same price. So uh, very being very careful with the quality of the meats. Like prices go up, quality goes down. So it's a big struggle. So but this business, if you really enjoy it, it humbles you. It you get to enjoy every single customer that walks through that door because you know how important they are. Because if they don't come back, then you're not doing the right thing. So and you know as well as I do that people will be very, very quick to criticize anything that you do bad, but they won't be so quick to praise you for what you did right or how you went above and beyond. And listen, we're human. We're dealing with a product that's artisanal, so is it perfect all the time? But then some mistakes happen. Yeah. Then the how you deal with it, that's what sets you apart from
Hmm.
maybe somebody else. Because it's always it's a very unpredictable business, but consistency is the key word when you work in this business. So you have to try to be as consistent as you can.
Hmm.
So
You're from the Barra da Malhada region in Portugal, very known for the suckling
yeah.
pig. I personally am Portuguese. Suckling pig, I'm not a huge fan, but it's not because you're here. Yours is the one I like the most.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I've tried it, and I remember when I was working at SPT, we had a we brought the suckling pig, and I was like, wow, this is no joke. So you put a lot of love into it, and I'm pretty sure that your Portuguese roots shaped your approach to Portuguese cuisine. It's a big responsibility. Do you consider
Mm.
yourself a great ambassador of?
I do. Yeah, that's something very personal to me, because my dad taught me how to do it. My grandfather taught my dad how to do it. Unfortunately, he passed away younger than he should, but me and him were really close, and me and my father are very close. And my father was always right there, and he still is. Thank God. He had a stroke, unfortunately, last December, and but he's with us, and so yeah, that's why I'm still 100% involved in that process. The sauce is still my grandfather's recipe. My dad taught me how to do it. I found a way to produce it consistently. So um, and so that's very special to me. I go to and again, the animals sometimes don't cooperate because again, we're all different. We all have different skins, different colors. We're all the same, but we're different.
Hmm.
And so it's a very complicated product, and uh, we're the only restaurant in the country, I think, that serves it every day. It's a very expensive product. We don't hit the margins that we're supposed to on it because if we did, probably most people wouldn't buy it. But that one is super special to me, and that's why I decided. And I'm able to do it every day because of the risol, the croquette production that we have. We do one in the sucky
Those are
pig
amazing.
uh, flavor. And that's how I get to get away with doing it every day because I have a full time production. So we have three companies, the two restaurants, and the production of the croquettes. Or else it wouldn't be viable for us to do it every day. But yeah, that uh,
But not even in
reminds me.
Portugal, I've had as good as yours,
Yeah,
actually.
there's a lot of good places there too. It's like anything else, but yeah, that one's near and dear to me, man. I remember my grandfather all the time when I'm around it, and I'm around it every day. And my dad, it's his.
It keeps you
Yeah,
close,
yeah, yeah. That one's special to me.
and it tastes like something very special coming from me that I'm not even a huge lover, and I really like it. So
Thank
I
you. I,
got to,
I
it's
appreciate that. It means a lot.
um. How have I know that you're very big into like very close to your family, and uh, you're very emotional when you talk to your previous generations. How has that shaped these family experiences? How has that shaped your approach to being in business and keeping these
Yeah, like
family traditions alive?
I know when we're younger, we obviously my dad, my mom, she's a wonderful woman. We're super close, and you don't listen to certain things they say because you're young, you know everything,
Hmm.
But they've been an integral part of it. My sisters, man, my brother-in-laws, we're a close family. My daughters, my daughter always helped me in the restaurants when we were getting started. She's in Portugal now for a few years. Uh, my younger one is finishing college this year.
Congratulations,
Thank you.
proud daddy.
Yeah, yeah, she's amazing. They both are, and um, so again, like I said before, age starts bringing certain things to the table, the experience, what you go through, and you start prioritizing uh, the things that matter the most. Obviously, your health, because without it, you can't do anything. Your family, the support, some special people that you have in your life uh, that are there every day, and the days aren't always easy. There's days that you're struggling to make sense of certain things that happen, and especially now with the times that we're going through, unfortunately. So, but your family's always there, and that becomes the pillar of who you are. Family, the close people that you have by you, very special people. So yeah, I've learned to cherish it and be better to them because in the beginning you're all over the place, you're more distant, you didn't make birthday parties most of the time, then now that's important. It is what it is. I'm not going to be able to control everything, so I find time to spend with the people that I love. Yeah.
Hmm.
So
Um, Newark, we truly feel that, and I don't know if people don't really know as much, but we feel, I honestly, and I grew up in Portugal. I came at the age of 23, and it's not that I'm trying to be biased. I feel that you can eat at your restaurant and some other restaurants here
yeah, a
at
lot
the
of good
same
restaurants.
level, if not better, in some cases, than in Portugal. I've let's not assume that every Portuguese restaurant, every business is going to be a good restaurant just because they're in Portugal.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
physical location doesn't make
yeah.
the restaurants, right? But how do you explain the level of authenticity? Because it doesn't really taste that it doesn't really seem to me that people like you that are in business, you're not willing to dumb it down. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Like, and you stick to the true, authentic, original flavors. And from a cultural, hospitality point of view, social cultural point of view, it's such a rich experience to be tasting such authentic flavors.
Yeah. It again, certain things are always going to be different in Portugal. If you're at the beach and they're reeling in the sardines, listen, uh, w- meats are different, vegetables are different. So, but I
Although
think
the
that we,
states also have great meats, though.
oh no, but I think probably if you go to the top of the top, probably even better. Steaks, if you don't eat a good steak here, obviously you're doing something wrong. Um, but we have it's all about being blessed and fortunate because people talk about Newark. Newark's my home. I live in Newark. Obviously, I lived out of Newark for a bunch of years, but then came back home. Um, People sometimes give it a bad rap, but you have benefits here that you don't get anywhere else.
Mhm.
So I'm fortunate enough. Obviously, my partners, Andy, Ryan, Siralbano, uh, they have capabilities that we have the capability of getting a fish delivery if I want twice a day because our partners own the fish distribution now also in the Bronx at the Fulton Street Market. So I have the best freshest fish because we get a delivery every day. We get lucky enough to have an ACB a few blocks away, so I get vegetables 6 days a week. Our meat purveyor, Mermini. We've been with them since the food truck. They're responsible with their meats. They have a tremendous operation. We get meat delivery 6 times a week, so Monday through Saturday. So there, you get out of here, that's not the reality. Most restaurants gets like one delivery weekly or so. So it's just about being in the right place.
Right.
And if you mess that up, then you shouldn't be in the business. So and Newark's great because of that. We have everything that we need here.
Hmm.
So and you can't,
The quality is
yeah,
there.
yeah,
So, from the food truck, now you have you and your group of partners. You have Café, No Pão Caffé on Chestnut. You also have No Pão Sem Reservas on Oliver. Um, you still have the sandwiches that started
yeah,
this all operation at Café.
yes, sir.
You just expanded a little bit
Yeah.
that operation,
Hmm.
kept some of the concept that
Yeah, I
Cafe
think all
already
of
had.
them so far, like because we opened Javis first, right? And they all have different names for a reason. So No Pão stays which obviously it's translated to English, it's on bread
Mm-hmm.
because of the food truck. But yeah, so I think by the time we got done with James Street, we closed right after, like in the middle of COVID. Unfortunately, so it was the smallest location, and we had three already there, so it just didn't make sense anymore. Um, and I think we were already up to like 25 or 26 sandwiches there outside of the breakfast stuff. So like gourmet sandwiches. And we have the same menu uh, at No Pão Caffé. That one we we decided to keep it No Pão at Caffé because Caffé had already been a staple in the community for about, I think, 16, 17 years by the time we entered a partnership. And uh, Andy at the time, he gave me the control to either go with just Nupang or whatever we decided to call it. But I decided with him to keep it Nupang Cafe because it's new, but we still want to respect the existing customers. They felt comfortable. We have customers that go there every day, and they've been going there and for all the now over 20 years, or about 20 years, So I didn't want to alienate that part. Um, and then Oliver, that was our pet project with me and Andy at the time, and Ryan was, somewhat involved at the time. Now he's 100% involved with me, and that we named No Pão Reservas, obviously after um,
Birthday.
Bourdain, which is, if you kind of translate it, it's no reservations. I was always a big fan. Andy and Ryan's mom, who unfortunately passed away at a young age, I think almost 4 years ago. She was a big fan of Bourdain. She actually gave us the first book from Bourdain, so we have it there at the restaurant, and so that's where, and as you know, I have our favorite 5 quotes from Bourdain up on the walls. So try to be like, because they're all different, and surround yourself with good people.
Hmm.
Our employees are passionate about what they do. We've had employees that work there for 17, 18 years in both locations, even before I was even a thought. We have a tremendous team, and they, snow, rain, they're there every day. We open early. We open at 5 o'clock in the morning and
Because you
6
also
o'clock.
work at,
Yeah,
you serve
big
breakfast.
breakfast business. We didn't touch that. That's our, no pun intended. That's our bread and butter.
Yes.
And that's the main thing. Respect your people. And Bourdain was big on that.
Hmm.
Big on respect, and he always spoke about. I was just reading some things about him the other day. It was big on getting out there, like the sacrifices that a chef goes through in the kitchen, the helpers, the dishwasher. You know how how it is dealing with people. It's complicated. It's
Hmm.
awesome. I've met you guys. I knew you a little bit before that, but Isabel, I met such great people.
Hmm.
Some that have become really good friends, almost like family.
Hmm.
That walked through that restaurant that I didn't know before that. So like, that's the part.
Yeah.
Instant gratification.
Yeah.
You know.
And you see the immediate reaction of
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
But again, the family ties, friends that
Yeah.
become
Yeah.
family.
Absolutely.
But your suckling pig operation is very successful to a point that I remember. We brought a friend of ours there, and it was noon, and he got there, and it was like he was born in Portugal, but he was raised here, like as a baby, but he's very Portuguese, and he was like, I want some like that, I want some suckling pig, and we got there, and you
It's
guys had
sold
ran
out.
out at noon.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was noon, and he
Yeah.
was like, "What
People.
time do you have to come here to
People.
eat let down? Are you kidding me? This is
Yeah.
noon."
And again, so a lot of people sometimes have a hard time understanding that. But obviously, Leitão's not a steak. You can't just pop it on the grill, and it's done 10, or depending on the point of the meat that you would like, the temperature, it takes time.
Hmm.
So people start calling, even like I already have reservations for next Christmas
Wow.
for suckling pig, because I maintain the quality the quantity that I think I can deliver with the consistency, because I could be there roasting pigs 2 days before if I wanted to,
Mm-hmm.
because I say no to hundreds of orders, uh, but we do it every day. I rather do something good every day than sacrifice my quality for some 3 or 4 times a year. It's like Mother's Day, Thanksgiving, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and New Year's Eve. We close New Year's Day. Let the people, get to enjoy themselves that night to end the year and start the year resting and with their family. So yeah, so it's Leitão's complicated. So the smaller one would take about 2 hours to roast. So it's not like if by the time we figure out by 11 o'clock that we're sold out, and we could, but now it's going to put you into 1:30, 2 o'clock, and then you might get stuck with it because now the main
Right.
lunch hour is. So people start calling like it, even the day before. If they want to guarantee, they call the day
No,
before to
but that guy
reserve.
was
Yeah,
funny because he was
yeah,
craving like that. I was like, "Where's the best?" Like, I'll take you to.
yeah,
Then we got there, no more.
yeah,
Um, Zekinha, I call him Zekinha, but
yeah.
Joe. Um, the purpose of this podcast is it's essentially for us to keep these conversations going even beyond the event that you went last year,
Yeah, it was
Savor Newark.
amazing. Yeah.
We really truly believe that Newark, in terms of great restaurants concentrated in one specific neighborhood, like we have in the Ironbound, the quantity of great restaurants you really don't find it anywhere else in the country in terms of specifically Portuguese, Spanish, and Brazilian food. Being that this is a space that we want that conversation to keep that conversation going for people who don't know Newark and don't know the Ironbound or n- know somewhat of the Ironbound but don't really know. What do you think that makes the Ironbound such a privileged food destination?
It's I had a few words on my food truck, and one of them was like food is culture, food is passion. So let's go to the culture. So the Ironbound people, like how many hundreds of thousands of people called it home when they first arrived, whether they came on a boat through Ferris Island or by plane so it was my first home. I got here December 27th, 1990, 35 years ago. Where did we live for the first year and a half? Ironbound. You know, um, so people call it home. A lot of people have moved away, to neighboring cities like my sisters and stuff like that. Obviously, everybody, the goal of this country has always been, to come here to better your life for you and for your family. Um, but I couldn't put a percentage on it, but how many people have called the Ironbound home? And unfortunately, we don't have as many Portuguese restaurants as we used to. But what? I think that's part of the process. I like to eat the food too. So obviously, a lot of Portuguese restaurants, Italian, but then our Brazilian brothers started coming in, and now you have a lot of them too. Now Ecuadorian food is very popular. I think the last time I saw something about the census, I think Ecuadorian residents have surpassed the Brazilian in percentage here in the Iron Mountain or in Newark, if I'm not mistaken. Thought I saw something like Brazilian was 16%, and I think Portugal 9%. And this was a couple of years ago. Those numbers obviously probably changed drastically in the last couple of years. And so, there's a lot of good Hispanic places, Mexican places. It's a melting pot. Uh, and we should embrace it.
Hmm.
Like our friend that we met before with the fusion tacos, that's what it's all about. Because
That's
the
what that.
food is international. It's like I if I leave my restaurant, let's say again, I have dear friends that have uh, Portuguese restaurants. One of them I'm very close to, Pedro from Taste of Portugal, Marco from the Degaman. We're super close. So I eat at their places, obviously too. But I like to go, like I order tacos. I order Brazilian food. I've eaten Ecuadorian food. Actually, when I left Java Street, that was taken over by an Ecuadorian restaurant. So you have to embrace it and taste it. Get together. We're here. We're not supposed to be fighting against each other. We're
Hmm.
supposed to support each other. And there's so much good food out there, and I
Hmm.
think the Iron Mountain represents that. And I hope it keeps getting better, because again, the more there is, it become people who say, "All right, we're gonna go to Iron Mountain," but I don't have to go to it can't be just to eat Portuguese food.
Hmm.
So we're gonna eat Brazilian food, this time around,
Hmm.
or Ecuadorian food, or Mexican food. So and I think that's what it's all about.
You touch an interesting topic where a lot of these people came through Ellis Island, through no matter
Oh,
how long you're here. At one point, you called the Ironbound home. Do you think um, that cooking traditional dishes like and keeping the family traditions like you have with your grandfather was a way for them to cope with the nostalgia of leaving their
Absolutely.
countries behind. I have a theory that what you taste in the Ironbound is it goes beyond flavor. You taste family traditions and you taste the nostalgia of the immigrants that left their lands behind, their countries behind, and kept those flavors alive. Also, almost as a healing therapeutic process.
Absolutely. And obviously, the Savor Group was integral in that
Of
part. They
course.
were innovators. They they started importing stuff from Portugal, and now they have tremendous importing business from Brazil too. Um, uh, Hispanic products as well. Man, when you come here looking for a better life, but you miss home, especially first month, 2 months. And I think I cried every day for the first month that I was here. It's a big change. I'm coming from a small town in Portugal. Man,
What's
you
the name of
come
your small town?
Areia de Camarneira. So it's about 7 kilometers from Cantanhede. I was
Hmm.
born in the hospital in Cantanhede. Uh, it's like it's an immigrant's town. You go there in the winter. Like now, it kind of changed a little, but I know so many people. Well, actually, the monument in the Camarneira. So Areia de Camarneira is like a attached to Camarneira. It's im- um, the monument is dedicated to immigrants.
Hmm.
All right. So you miss home, you know. Still till today, you still want to have a small laranja. Or when they started bringing the olá, the ice
Yes.
cream, like man, I was like, I haven't had a pen of pau in like so many years. So for those 5 minutes, it's like you're back home. So, and that's it's super important. And we should be thankful that some people took that initiative and brought that to us, so that it made it a little bit easier
Hmm.
for you to cope with it.
Hmm. In case it wasn't clear, the Ciabos group, their import export,
Yeah, supermarkets, So yeah,
and they bring these products. They We had actually Adam Ciabra as one of our panelists last year,
yeah. I
Savor
think
Newark, which is a very
Adam was
important.
there, right?
Yeah, Adam,
Yeah,
Adam and Janata,
yeah. That's
although
right. Yeah, yeah.
Janata's from a different
Louise, yeah,
group, Ocean Seafood. Um, and it's that's why when people think, and I guess the message that we would also like to leave here, it's not just I had an idea. I would like to have some cool sandwiches, and all of a sudden after restaurants. I mean, there's a lot of love. There's a lot of tenacity, resilience, courage. You also need the right ingredients. You
yeah,
also need a little bit of luck because
yeah.
you had a
Absolutely.
winter that truly helped. So I think that you're definitely, and restaurateurs like you are definitely great ambassadors of the true flavors of the countries you
Thank you. I
represent.
appreciate that.
And I think that people, when they go to No Pão or any of your restaurants, they can taste that. They can taste that, those family traditions, and that's what makes it pretty unique.
Yeah, like I always say, and it's if you love what you do, you never have to work a day in your life. And I wake up every day, even like I usually Sundays, if not, there's nothing crazy, that's the day that I try not to go in, but I end up going there
Hmm.
every day anyway. Say hi to everybody, have a coffee, but it's not work. I've never had a day that I wake up is like I don't want to go in today,
Hmm.
and until it stays like that, this is what I want to do. You know.
How do you see the future, and what can people expect from you?
Unfortunately, it is what it is. We're working on our liquor license now for Saint Reservas, obviously. Um, I think the future is a little unpredictable for now. So we're kind of like I like to say we're like in survival mode at this point. Unfortunately, everything that's going on in the country, and so we're taking it easy. We're just making sure that we are able to stay afloat and make sure that everybody's still without sacrificing quality and service. And so right now, that's where it's at. You know, we our catering business has picked up a lot. So me and Ryan have been working on. on some stuff to kind of make that a little bit easier than it's been. And so we want to really, so we do for the past 3 years, but it's been growing every year. We bring, like, if you want barbecue chicken, sardines, we bring a commercial stainless steel grill to your house, whether it's poolside or on your backyard or in front of the house, wherever. And we cook there fresh food on the spot. The bifanas, the pregos, the sandwiches. We have a full menu. So that's been going really well. I've actually been discussing the idea with Ryan about adapting a Leitão oven in a trailer, so that we could actually roast the pig
Hmm.
off location. So if that might be the near
Some
future.
people do that with pizzas. You can do that with Leitão.
Yeah, I can absolutely. And again, they have a lot of connections. They know the manufacturer of the ovens in Portugal. Our ovens for the suckling pigs came from Portugal. Um, they know them personally, so we have the capability of getting the right stuff to get it done over here. So yeah.
Very good. People that would like to keep up with you, find more information, where can they find you on social?
Yeah, social media. We have No Pão Reservas as their, obviously Instagram and Facebook, and so there's No Pão Caffé. I think we need to work on a little bit more. So, and I've had that conversation with you too. So, 2026, that's one of the goals, to get that on the wraps too. So, but yeah, and they could always come. I keep going back and forth from No Pão Caffé, and Oliver Street. But if you want to find me, I'm especially at lunchtime. I'm always at Oliver Street, and so yeah, you can get in touch with me there.
You already know, if you're a true lover of suckling pig and truly traditional food and José Leitão and so many other amazing dishes, No Pão Reservas and Joe Leitão and his operation. Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much.
You're
Thank you
such
for
an
having me.
inspiration.
Thank you. It's always
Thank
a
you.
pleasure seeing you guys, but I appreciate it.
It was a conversation with our great friend, Joe Leitão. I'll see you the next time. You keep up with us as well.